though I really don't want to be open to dating men outside my race. I don't want to do it. Let me be very clear. It's not what I want.
That makes sense.
But it's something that at almost 39 years old, still desiring a family in that life, I may have to be open to.
If you can't find a person, you keep running into the same issue. At some point, you have to look at yourself. It has to be some type of self-reflection. You have to be able to look and say, you know what? There's got to be something I can improve on. And until you do make the adjustments, you're going to go to the other side, you're still going to fail.
Trev, I think it's interesting because she never really went into detail about her experience and what she was noticing. And I think that's the part of, like, if I was there, I would have asked her a lot of questions. I'd have picked her brain. And so
this is a tough one, guys, because Lene, I'm with you on that. Okay. As a Black woman, I don't believe wholeheartedly that any man other than a Black man can truly connect with me in the way that you described.
Right.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, I have to also own the fact that there are frustrations that I have with a sect of Black men in this generation when it comes to partnering, when it comes to potentially being a husband or even a viable boyfriend that has now put me in a position where, even though I really don't want to be open to dating men outside my race, I don't want to do it. Let me be very clear. It's not what I want.
That makes sense.
But it's something that at almost 39 years old, still desiring a family in that life, I may have to be open to.
Yeah.
So I haven't had any experiences necessarily with being in the proximity that you mentioned with white males when it comes to dating. Now, I will say, growing up, my cousin used to always, tease me that I would end up with a white man, and it would make me so mad. It would really upset me. Like, why would you say that? Like, am I not good enough to be with a Black man? But that, outside of that comment, no.
That was, man.
Go ahead, Trev.
All right. Here's what we have to understand first off. First things first, right? The people, I'm really sick of everyone trying to make the Black man the boogeyman. It's so crazy out here. When you look at it holistically, when you understand the statistics, you understand a Black man acquiesce to more bullshit than any other race as far as relationships are concerned. We're the most willing to deal with a single mother more than any other race, right? And we are, as a race, we are riddled with single mothers, unfortunately. We spend more time with children overall as a race, as far as Black men are concerned, statistically, facts. We are more likely to help with household chores than any other race. All of these things that that the women are asking for. Secondly, the amount of concessions that these women will have to make in order to date outside of their race, because we're not saying they won't get them, but let's be honest, we know what the statistics are, right? More left swipes than anyone else. So it would be a lot easier to obtain a Black man, because the amount of work that you're going to have to do to get into another race, you would actually be more suitable to be with the Black man. If you are more attracted to another race, fine, say that. But don't say that because you just can't make a connection with one. That shit sounds stupid to me, because you're not going to do better because a person is white or just a non-Black or Latino, whatever. You're going to probably do better because you're going to behave differently. They don't even have the same type of behaviors. Black men are guilty of it too. When we get outside of it, we know that Black men honestly will give a white girl like 3-4 more points just because she's white sometimes. We know that. But Black women do the same damn thing. When they are trying to get with another race, they kind of worship that race. I've noticed that people who date outside their race just do that overall. They really have a form of self-hatred is what I see it as. So, and I'm not saying that this isn't like people shouldn't interracially date, but what I'm saying is you don't have to bash the race while doing that, or you don't have to say that Black men aren't good enough, or it's unlikely for me to find a connection with the Black man. If you want to say, look, I'm gonna try to open up all of my options just so I have the most likelihood of having an outcome, because I have a larger sample size, a larger dating pool to pull from, I can understand that. But to try to say that Black men are inefficient, so I'm going to date somewhere else, sounds crazy to me.
Can I comment? I think it's interesting. I think what she said was very fair, right? And I think that she communicated it in a way where um so that she doesn't ruffle too many feathers. She said that she ultimately would love and always thought she would be with a black man. However, and yeah, she said that like she can't connect with nobody like she connects with black men. But she's realizing as she gets older and as she learns more and probably experiences more, is that she might need to open up her options. Right? Now, I think that a lot of times we as men don't really listen, right? Because I was just interested in listening to her perspective, see what she thinks. Um, and it's like it's not like she's saying that every black man is like the same way. Right? I didn't take that personal. She can meet a guy that's, I think that uh I think that it's a lot of men that she may not have experienced who may be able to, be the type of person that she's looking for. However, what she said was nothing disrespectful. It was nothing that I would take like, like she was trying to take a dig at black men or nothing like that. So, yeah.
You know what I find?
I was just.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Nope.
Jay.
True. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Jay, so we can go ahead and get a woman in there to kind of balance it out a little bit.
I feel like I kind of see a little bit of, I agree with a little bit of both of you. However, I do think that when Mont says, she's not bashing. She was making a point that it's like, damn, I can't get success here, so let me be open to other options. But I feel like it's no different than and I'm using Trev just because I know Trev usually, or even, Willie, like women are this way, black women are this way. So this is the reason why, other black men date outside their race. What is the difference? What is the difference where you get tired, conversations like women ain't shit, you get so tired of it. There's no difference. And almost like what she's saying, it's just that she was saying in a way where it's like, you know what? I'm not against it going outside. Go ahead, Trev. I know you. I see your wheels rolling. I'm just saying it's no different. I think that when people get tired of the same result in that same circle, then it's like, all right, let me be open, because I think at some point maybe they weren't open to it. Like I've never dated a guy at all.
Look. So one thing that I tell humans in general, right? If you don't like the results that you're getting, then you must improve, right? It's not about trying to blame it on everybody else. That's the point that I'm getting at. If what she is saying, whether it's direct or indirectly, is that black men are inefficient, because there's plenty of black men who will date her, right? She has enough of a look, at least at surface level, to be able to acquire black men's attention. If she can't retain it, then something's wrong with you. Or if you think that all black men are deficient, then something's wrong with you. That's the problem that I'm having with it. She is going to garner attention. She looks good enough to be able to get that. What she does with it is on her. That's all I'm saying. If you can't find a person, you keep running into the same issue. At some point, you have to look at yourself. It has to be some type of self-reflection. You have to be able to look and say, you know what? It's got to be something I can improve on. And until you do make the adjustments, you're going to go to the other side. You're still going to fail. It's not about a black or white thing. It's about a self-improvement thing and pinpointing what the hell I'm doing wrong. Why am I getting these poor results?
Trev, I think it's interesting because she never really went into detail about her experience and what she was noticing. And I think that's the part of, like, if I was there, I would have asked her a lot of questions. I'd have picked her brain and saw, what are you experiencing that you think that you can't find a black man? And I think that we are projecting what we may think that she is experiencing. So that's, yeah.
Well, that's all we can do is take the clip at face value. I've listened to you mention that before, like when there's more context involved. So what else are we gonna do but take it for face value? We have to make an inference somehow. We can't just, what are we gonna do? That's what the entire process is here, is for us to kind of look at what it is we have access to and then come up with some sort of assessment. And this is just what I have. This is my take. You may not like it, but I understood the assignment. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're never going to have all the context. So all I can do is give you what I think based on, the large sample size that I have access to, the countless women who I've interviewed, the friends that I have, and everything, all of the problems that I see them have in common, and then tell you what my thesis is. That's all I could really do.
I think the problem is that men don't date men. And then when they hear women say that, they bring their friends and they circle into the conversation and say, hey, I know this dude is a good man. This guy is a good man. And then they make it seem like that is the general population of the men that women are dating. It's just not. Women are given their experience and their sisters' experiences, their grandma's experience, and they just expressing to us, to the public, that, hey, this pool is not as good as black men are trying to portray it to be. And it's just, we're going to have to start dealing with that so we could build a different mindset for younger black men, for the new generation. And that's what I believe these conversations is really about. When you hear women say she might have to open up her options, because when she start dating them and the person reveals themselves, he is not worthy of a long lasting relationship besides the
You know what I have a problem with, not so what you said, Sharon, but since you were the last to speak, she sounds very similar to a lot of the women in the community who believe they know what black men are. And that's my issue with black women collectively, is the fact that they always speak, just like you said, we don't know the women, they don't know the men. The only thing we have in common is the fact that we share similar hues. There is so many different dynamics of being a black person, especially in America. But for whatever reason, black women think because they're black, they know all black men. And then they take on the approach of life based on her own individual outlook, whatever she's achieved, whatever she's accomplished. She's almost 40 years old and have not been able to acquire a black man in the pool of black men who, like Trev said, will probably love to date her or have an opportunity. So I would be interested, like Ma said, to what is her assessment of the pool of black men. And what's personally irritating is that most black women seem to think they got a monopoly on black men, and they don't even know half the time what the heck we want. Generally speaking, if they were so pronounced at knowing black men, they wouldn't be that single. If they were so pronounced in knowing what black men wanted, they wouldn't be walking around trying to figure this out at 40 years old. So if you come from the community, you're the expert. Wouldn't you be dominating in the realm of romance? And that's not the case.
No.
That's
no. So
go ahead.
The thing is,